Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning, May 4th. How do I know? Because my computer's telling me. I hope you had a nice weekend. Yesterday, I just kind of curled into a ball on the couch and binge watched Killing Eve. And it's kind of slow when it gets started. And then halfway through the first season, you're like going, you're just riveted. It is not for the faint of heart. When I wasn't binging, I went out and I got my first cut. I love my roses. And when I get the first cut, I call it the first blooms. It's always so glorious. This variety is Lady of Guadalupe. They don't get real big, but they're kind of a bushy plant. And but fragrance rise. Oh, this is going to be a good one today. They are just absolutely lovely. So I wanted to share my first cut. Also, I want to share that I actually got to go see my mom, and that really made me happy. What they have done in the home that she's in, well, I got a picture. I'll show you the picture. She was in the backyard and on the deck, and then they built like this plexiglass thing in between. And so she was at least 6 feet back, and I was at least 6 feet in the other direction, probably more like 10 and 10. And they wanted us to keep my mask on. And I did. And she was so utterly confused. But then Sabrina said, go ahead and take your mask off because we knew nothing was going to be transmitted. So it was great. And then 2 seconds into it, she goes, okay, goodbye. So all this freaking out that I couldn't see her, I realized. And the other thing I want to share too is that they say with dementia, Alzheimer's, that people can get really, really mean. Well, my mom has gotten really, really nice. So there's just such sweetness coming from her that I will hold forever in my heart. Yes, ma'am. So then the other thing was Laura Wazalowski's birthday was on May 1st. And of course, everybody's quarantined, but I think with the help of Frida Anderson, their partners, her husband Steve pulled together a Zoom chat, a surprise Zoom party. Well, we were told to be there, let's say California time, at 4:45. Was it 4:45? Yeah, 4:45. And she was there too, so we didn't all go surprise, but we sang to her. Everyone said hi. She was blown out. I absolutely love Laura Wazalowski. We did an interview with her not so long ago, so if you want to feel for who she is, dial back and go watch it. Also, we have a couple shows with her too, but she actually cried a little. I remember one year it was my birthday and I told my husband I have no friends. And really what I was saying is I have no friends in Livermore, like maybe one. And it's one of the plight of traveling teachers. You're not around to connect with people. So he had people text me, happy birthday. And the best one was my sister-in-law was over in India and she had two guys from India wishing me a happy birthday. It was awesome. So I want to finish up a little bit of details. Oh, no, wait. Nope, 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 nope. I have something else to show you. Let's see. I got this from Linda Mullaney. I've not met her. I mean, I've met her, but we have the mutual friend Robin Maimoni. And look what she sent me, you guys. This is Quilter's Quarantine. And then whatever I'm going to make during this time, I'm going to make sure that I'm sewing this in. So, Linda, thank you so much. That was a complete and fabulous surprise. Also, a lot of you wanted to know when the pin gets in, when it has arrived in the warehouse. It has arrived in the warehouse and in our store. And what is so cool about this pen is this. What separates it from, say, the other blue and purple pens is number one. Let me get on this other camera. And we figured out why the other camera was fuzzy the other day. Let's see. I want to move this way. It will stay on from 1 to 7 days. All right. It depends on where you live and how moist it is outside and all that. Whereas most of the purple pens, they only stay on for a couple hours at most. And then also, here it is. this is a really cool feature. All right. Let's say you mark something with this. Water can take it out, but water will spread all over. So this side has this little kind of erasey pin that you can target where you want it to go away. But more important than this and the fact that it stays on 1 to 7 days, I say, again, depending on where, I can mark cloth with this and I can go to the iron, and it is not going to stay in permanently. Guys, that is a huge deal. Huge deal. Whoops, I got a little on there. So somebody asked me how is this relationship working with R&K Distributing, and what it is this is I've been quilting, like I always say, since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And I know that there are products that need to be improved on. And I know that R&K has the chops and the knowledge to bring to us the products that we want as quilt makers. Also, somebody else asked about the mat that I'm working on. It's the Quilter Select mat. We now have them that are 36 by 60. Yeah, I do believe they're back ordered, but if you're interested, you might want to get in queue for that. All right, let's get back to the color wheel. I realized I showed you on Friday, different relationships with them and the results that you get, whether you get chicken soup for the soul or you get Cajun or you get a classic steak dinner. Go back and watch on Friday if you want to know what I'm talking about. But I tell you all this, and so what? Okay, I kind of forgot to tell you how to put the recipes in. So let's see, I got to get this. It's a trick to get so that there we go. All right. So let's say I've got these fabrics here and it's from the bundle, and I pick up maybe, let's say this one. Now this fabric is giving me cues and clues on where to go. So on this fabric, I know I can easily match it with the orange. It's a lovely combination. I could easily match it with the green. That's fabulous. And or even the gray, but this would be a fairly subtle combination. Okay, this particular one, I look at it and I go, oh, well, it's got green in it, so I could put it with green. But what happens when you pick up a fabric like this that gives you no clues on who to play with? That's when I go to my color wheel. So this is a golden yellow. I'm going to go straight across, and it's going to be a blue violet. I don't think there's a blue violet in this collection, but I know that if I hit blues, it's going to be just fine. It's beautiful together. Now, speaking of this fabric, although it's primarily blue, there is yellow in it. So it can play with, ew, I don't like that. That's too busy. This could play with a green, but I don't see one that I really love, so I'd probably go back to something like this. So that is how I use my color wheel. The other thing is that I bought this little bundle on impulse at Bay Quilts in Richmond. If you're in the Northern California area, San Francisco, you got to go to the store. It's unbelievable. I just almost had a cow when I saw this. I loved it so much. And then as I look at these down here, there's a darn good chance I might break this bundle. That's a big deal to me. I might break this bundle in order and add it in with this collection. The colors are very, very lovely together. So that said, let's get started, all right? What I want to tell you is this. The Sequoia sampler was originally made with Editas Sitar's fabrics, and I did it because, I'll tell you the real truth, I did it because we had overbought her fusibles. We had like 100 in the store, and so we got in more fabric, and I said, well, let me see what pattern can I come up with so that, we can sell these. I mean, that's just the truth of the whole thing, okay? And so I made this quilt, and the rules that I made for myself was this. What? Oh, I got to speak louder when I step back. This is, John, I am going for an Emmy on this. Yeah, right? I'm going for an Emmy. Or isn't it Emmy for TV? Okay, I'm getting them all mixed up. But anyways, maybe for wardrobe too. I don't know. So anyways, what I decided initially was that I was going to do a sampler that would teach different what I call piecing cartwheels, and I made the decision that it was going to be based off 6-inch blocks. So that was my initial going through the idea. I have both of these books, and I'll bet half of you have these. This quick and easy block tool. And what I would do is I would go through and I would look for things that can be made in 6-inch blocks. Like, for instance, the snail's trail. It can be, and here's all your cutting numbers for it. So what I'm suggesting to you is if some of these blocks don't just set your heart on fire, consider any 6-inch block. All right, I'm kind of surprised I didn't put a 6-inch log cabin in it, if you want to know the truth. So feel free to edit and change as you see fit. Now, I'm not one to normally, let me look at my list and make sure it's all good. Yeah, I'm not one to normally work with fat quarter bundles. I'm just not, unless something like this says just take me home, or the one that I broke on Friday. So, and it's because I get nervous because the pieces are just not that big. So I want to look at the pattern carefully and consider what is going on here. So here it is in its roughest form. And you can see right in here is where, do I have this thing upside down? No, I don't. Right in here is where the applique is going to go. These are much bigger blocks. These are, and thank you, somebody found there was an error. That's what started that whole mess. The PDFs right now that you can download at thequiltshow.com are correct. So this one is 8 by 12. This one is 4 by 12. And this one is 12 by 6. All right. So it's 12 inches across and 18 inches down. If you wanted to do another configuration, that's fine with me. Just make sure that it ends up 12 by 18, which are all divisible by 6. We're going to be working 6, 6, and then I think these are, that's half of 6, so these are 1.5 squares, so that's 3 inches. This is 3 inches by, I don't know, I'd have to look. 3 inches here. But my upshot is because the cloth is at a fat quarter bundle is just, you're kind of limited. You want to make sure you don't start making a bunch of blocks and chop into what might be potential backgrounds for the center block. So how I work is like this. I'm just going to take you, I work on my design wall. I pinned up those two fabrics, and I believe the top and the right are in the collection. The left-hand polka dot was not. And I thought, wow, that's kind of really bottom heavy. So get rid of this. Let's go to the next one. And this is truly how I work, you guys. I felt fortunate that I found this kind of flag fabric in there because it has the same color in it as the two grays do. It's like there's a little bit of purple or something in it. And I did that. And then I did this, and I don't know, maybe the bottom left polka dot is too light. Again, I'm adding from my stash. And then I started to consider those side wings, all right? Not as important as the center, because I think I can skinny out those cuts, no problem. And then I thought, oh, what if I do this? So my point is that right now that is hanging on my wall, and I'm considering what's going to go in the center. And as soon as I know what's going to go in the center, then I think the thing to do is to sew that 12 by 18 inch area and then get it up on your design wall. Oh, guess who's coming in? Here she is, my buddy. The poor thing is so old. She can't even hardly jump up. She's headed for her basket. That's where she's headed. Okay, so that would be number one that I do. Number two, I'm going to go through blocks that teach series of things. I am not going to go in the order they are in the pattern, all right? So bear with me with that. Today, we're going to talk about the house quilt, which is right up here. our house block, and Snowball, which is right here, because they all use flip and sew. I'm not sewing today. I've stepped it out because it's not that imperative that you see. There will be times I'm at my sewing machine. And see, I'd rather be here because it's a lot easier to manage. My sewing machine is just, but for this, we're just staying here today. So let's go down to this camera. And we figured out why it was so fuzzy yesterday. We didn't have the phone. This right here that you're looking at right now, it's actually John's phone. So let's just lay out this little block. This is so cute. I actually, wait, where's the finished one? Here's the finished one. So cute. I don't know. I should have made this step out one out of other fabrics, but I realized that actually after I was all prepared. So let's get this here. Now the other thing too is on my quilt, I think I have like, I don't know how many stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 stars in one house. I might this time prefer, let's see, this one goes up here. I might this time prefer to do 4 houses because of the whole quarantine thing. Okay, I've got to look at this thing and see. I'm going to put this here. I even angst over how am I going to turn it this way or am I going to turn it this way? All right, so then here. And then that's what's missing, a little jigsaw puzzle right here. All right, so here are the pieces. This is a very, very straightforward block, you guys. It's a great block for beginners. Let me move this way. And in the olden days, when I didn't do flip and sew, this would have been a nightmare up here. This is making the roof line of the house, all right? So what I do is I use my Frixion pen or friction, I really don't even know what they're called, you know, the ones that disappear with heat. I want to be very, very clear about one thing, you guys. And I think I've already said it here, but I want to say it again. I only use those friction pens when I know it's not going to show on top. That is imperative to understand because yes, it can come back. Yes, it can like create a ghost line on your fabric. So don't do that. But the thing I like about it, and I've lost mine already here, you would not be surprised if you could see the mess. The thing I like about it is that it has a nice little sharp line to it. You don't want a big fat line, you want a little sharp line. So if I pull this, like, now I want to go this way. All right. So let's talk about the bottom construction. Super easy. Oh, the other funny thing that happened, you sew this to here, this to here, this here, butt it up, and then this to here. What was interesting to me was that I've been doing a lot of free-form quilting lately, or piecing. I need to step back up to the plate, all right? Now, when it's all sewn together and pressed beautifully, you know, then you'll put this on here, okay? So now you've got the body of the house. Now we need to do the roof line. Again, this finishes at 6 inches. So I've drawn with my friction pen from corner to corner, from corner to corner, and then I'm going to press, all right? But I want to show you this. I'm hoping you can see this. No, let me get back on this camera and see if we can see it here. I have sewn a hair, like butting and touching the ink pen to the outside edge, okay? And that is so that when I roll it over, I don't fall short. It doesn't end up like this, okay? You want it to be right on the outside. Let me press this and I'll be right back, all right? Okay, got my iron ready to go. I'm ironing it right side up, and I went like this with my iron and like this like with my iron. What's so great about doing it the flip and sew technique, that's what this is called, is that you don't have any exposed biases. Again, I've shared that I've got my grandma's, or I don't know whose, but this super heavy old-fashioned iron. Normally after I iron on the ironing board, I would just put this on and then come off, and it really sets the seams beautifully. Now there's a controversy. I love it that there's controversy even in quilting. There is this, see this lined up beautifully. It's a little bit bigger here. That's no problem. What I might do, because I know that this is perfect, all right? I purposely sewed it so it would come out a little bit. What I might do, and what I will do, is I will just trim to the orange piece, because I know that is the correct one, the correct size. All right. So now the controversy is this. Do you cut this out? Do I cut this away? Because if I were piecing the old-fashioned way, this would not be there. The late Mary Ellen Hopkins was like, do not cut any of this out, any of it, because it will help you stay true to the shape, because you have this as the true size you're doing. Then there's the school that you could maybe just cut out the middle one. That's it. Then there's the school of get rid of it. And the school of get rid of it completely is the school of I might hand quilt it, and you don't want to go through all these layers. So I cut it. If I'm going to trim it off, I cut it 1/4 inch from the sewn line, and I will do the same here. You can see what school I'm in. I'm in the school of get rid of it. All right. So this is a very easy, straightforward block, and I chose for us to start with it because we're all stuck at home, okay? So then the next block I chose, where did you go, Snowball? Is the Snowball. You know what? I wish I could take a picture and show you what a disaster this is here. Oh, it fell on the ground. Okay. There we go. So Snowball is a really fun block to play with because it's so easy, and it pairs up beautifully with a 9 patch if you want a real fast and easy quilt to go. Let me, it's frozen a little bit. There we go. So Snowball is the same darn thing. I've marked it corner to corner, and I've sewn there to there, regular stitch length, and then I'm going to go press it, and I'll be right back. I thought I could bring all this over, but just to get so much more confused, forget it. All right. So here's my little Snowball. Now I can see this one, wait a minute. This one's a little bit goofy, and this one's a little bit goofy. It's off the edge a little bit. So again, using this piece as my guide, because it's 6.5 by 6.5, I can go and trim this stuff off. And no, I am not going to be goofing up the block. I am not one that believes in squaring up, because I think you can end up cutting important aspects of the block off, like say in a star, the tips can go. But on something like this, when I've got a guide as the background as a guide, I will do it without very much hesitation. I think people who've taken my star class before are probably having a heart attack right now. But note, I didn't just put a thing on, a ruler on, and go cut, 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 cut. All right? I didn't do that. Don't do that. So your assignment is this from now, okay, is to figure out your background for this. All right? Go ahead and make the house quilt if you want to do a couple house quilts, because you're going to have to double up some of these particular patterns at some point here. Couple of those. Snowball, I'd probably just do one, but whatever, it's your quilt. And then let me tell you what we're going to do Wednesday. I'm going to jump to something that's a little more difficult. I'm going to jump to stars. All right? Oh, there we go. There, stars. And what I'm going to teach you is this, is when I would teach my star class at Asilomar, I would make people have to suffer through doing this the old-fashioned way with a quarter square triangle and half square triangles. And that is how it's reflected in the pattern. So I'm going to show how to do this. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in it. But then I'm going to show a way to shortcut it. All right. So it's not flip and sew. It's the one big block with the 4 little blocks, but I don't want to confuse you on that. Also, I just want to point out one other thing. Please note that some of my blocks have a dark background and some of my blocks have a light background. There's no rule on the world that says they all have to be light or they all have to be dark. All right. So that's where we're at today. Let me tell you what's going to happen to me in a little bit, and I'm so excited I can't stand it. At 11:30, I'm going to have a Skype with Anita Murphy, and she sent me this book of hers. I believe it is fresh off the press. She is just great, and she knows her jam, okay? And it's on ruler work. It's on buying tools, planning the quilting, and to successful stitching, whether you're on a domestic or a long arm. Yes, so that will go out in one of our newsletters at some point here, probably within a week. So you might want to very well watch out for her. She's a dynamo. Okay, so if you are new, we've gotten a bunch of new members at TQS because of this and understanding that a computer can be your very good friend. We have a $19.95 for 6 months, and you will start receiving newsletters 4 times a week that Mary Kay is working so hard to get to you. And in those newsletters, we have really great stuff, including like even jigsaw puzzles, all right? If you have signed up and you are not getting those, please go and check your junk mail. And then as soon as you unjunk us, we're going to be fine with you guys, okay? So anyways, Mary, it was Simply Quilts was great. It was on 11 years. And thank you, universe, for the internet, because we can continue to deliver you fresh, beautiful shows. Oh, and I have a secret that I can't tell you yet. I'm not sure if it was in today's newsletter or not, but on Sunday, rumor has it Ricky's going to have a playoff piano duo against somebody who is in a famous country western band. So I'll believe it when I see it, but he called yesterday high as a kite about it, and I was too, because I happen to covet the work of this group. So I'm very, very excited. John, do you have something you want to say? No? When he comes on, I kind of go, uh-oh, what's going on? Okay, I think we're good to go, you guys. I got to clean up this mess. I mean, this is just to let you, well, I'm not going to let you know. You don't know. And so anyways, okay, when a little off subject, but what needle do I recommend when piecing with Quilt Smart 80 weight? I think you mean Quilter Select 80. I know, she already came in. I use my Top Stitch 80. If the thread starts breaking, because it's a very fine thread, I might go down actually to a smaller hole because it won't bounce around so much. But also, if I'm using that 80 on top, I slow down my speed. There's a lot of energy that goes into that thread as it passes through the needle. So, okie dokie, I think we're good, and I'm no longer getting newsletters, but have not found where I can get them again. I'm a current member. Any suggestions? John? Here, I'm going to bring the man in. Okay, this is from Pat. I'm no longer getting the newsletters, but have not found where I can get them again. I'm a current member. Any suggestions?
Just send it to customer service.
No, she is slammed right now.
Okay.
So that's how you do it?
Yeah, because I have to know what their email is and I can get it set up.
Okay, is there a way that you... Tell you what, yeah. I want you to do this. I want you to go to my Facebook and message me. Poor Brandy is just getting slammed, and it's because we have all these new members and everything's trying to figure it out. But check your junk mail too, and if it's not there, do message me, tell me your member name and your email address, right, John? And then John can look into it for you. A couple of people, let's see. How can we watch the Quilt Show on TV? Get back here. Get back here. This is going to be John's question. He's a techie guy. How can we watch it on TV?
Okay, so you can do it with Apple TV where you cast it up. And if you're not an iPhone type of person or an Apple person, then you use Chromecast. And that's again where you're doing it on your computer, but you're throwing it to your TV. Or you have the Amazon Fire Stick, which has its own browser, and you can just turn it on.
But
and
can't you
go
also
to it.
just hook up your computer to the TV too?
If you have the right cord, you can just hook it right in.
Yeah, yeah.
An
I'm
HDMI
actually getting
cord.
pictures from people on them figuring it out so they can get it on their flat screen. So,
It's really nice when it's big.
oh, yeah, well, kind of.
Yeah.
It depends who the camera's on. Okay. So Madonna, you're not getting the newsletters either. First, please check your junk mail. All right? That's what. And
Promotions tab
for Gmail.
for Gmail.
So, okay, guys, have a good day, and we'll see you Wednesday, and we'll be looking for the stars. Have a good one. Bye-bye.